sec. Hello everyone and welcome to Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. In this, our June 27th, 2022 show, we're going to be covering a range of topics, including some spoilers for the upcoming Batman and Superman Battle of the Super Sons animated movie. We're also going to be talking about Brainiac and the new My Adventures with Superman animated series. We're going to be talking about tomorrow night's season finale of Superman and Lois, and so much more. We're also going to turn to you to ask for your questions and comments on any particular Superman topic you would like to discuss. And to let you know how all that works and how you can get involved in tonight's show, let me introduce you to my co-host, Mr. Michael Bailey. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
Doing well, and yourself?
Oh, can't be better. I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, don't sound that great, but I'm feeling better.
Anyways, as I joked last week, getting in touch with us used to be really complicated and involved you getting on Skype and all that, but we don't have that anymore. Oh no, we're all fancy now. We've got a special page, supermanhomepage.com/live, where you can go to that and press that you'd like to be on the show, and it immediately puts you into a little green room where we can see you. Or you can take your fancy phone thing, go up to the screen right now, and hit that QR code, and it'll do the same thing. We do advise having headphones on. Just that seems to make it work better. But yeah, it's super easy to get in touch with us now.
Indeed, and if you need that later on, I will post the QR code again. But you can always just, as Michael just said, supermanhomepage.com/live. And yes, John Patrick Van Pelt, thank you. I did do the update the Superman homepage promo trailer, which he's been requesting for a while, to include Tyler Hoechlin. So thank you for that. I will show that later in the episode. But the other way you can get involved, if you're a bit shy, don't want to get on camera or on the microphone and talk to us tonight, you can comment right there on YouTube. In the live feed, you'll see comments from people who are watching the show live. There's JP, there's Robert, there's John, there's Michael, there's Eric. There's a whole slew of others joining us all the time. Feel free to participate in the comments there on YouTube. Michael and I will keep an eye on that feed and respond as necessary. But if you would like, just like John did, your comment or question to be featured on the screen live during the show, that's called a super chat. All you do is click the dollar symbol there on YouTube. A slider will appear. You decide on the dollar amount you're willing to donate, and we will feature your comment or question live on the screen. There are also super thanks and super stickers if you'd like those included on the screen as well. So get involved, and thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt and Tina Murray. And you can support the Superman homepage by simply clicking the join button below there on YouTube. Alright, well Michael, how's your week been? I know you've been dealing with septic tanks and a lot of other crap that's been going on, but
Literally,
yeah.
I managed to, and JP in the chat mentioned this, I managed to track down a couple boxes of the Superman cereal.
Yes, the Captain Crunch. Right.
Captain Crunch takeover. I have to respectfully disagree with JP. I didn't think it tasted like Crunch Berries at all. It really tasted like a washed out version of a cereal we have over here called Frankenberry.
Yeah.
And the next day, my stomach was not happy with me. So apparently the cereal is more powerful than a locomotive. But yeah, no, I found that, and I changed out all the posters behind me so you can kind of see like the For All Seasons 1
nice.
And all that. I just, due to recent events that we won't get into, I needed some hope. So I surrounded myself with it here in the office.
Very nice.
And that's why I'm super excited to be talking tonight about all the fun stuff we got on the docket.
Yes, let's leave the real world dramas behind and get into some of the Superman stuff, that bit of an escapism from some of the dramas that are going on. But we'll start with movie news, as we like to do, and talk about escapism. DC League of Super Pets, the animated film, is coming to screens pretty quickly. It's a month away there for the US, July 29th. And Canada and other places around the world that are getting it at the end of July. Don't have long to wait. And Warner Brothers Pictures released a couple of character posters for DC League of Super Pets. There's the main one with Crypto and Ace, but we've also got they call him Bark Kent, one for Crypto himself. There's Ace. He doesn't take sit from anyone. Interesting little play on words there. Then there's Squeak of Nature for Lulu, the hairless guinea pig who is the villain of the film. And then you've got Fighting Crime Can Get Nuts, and that's the one with Chip the Squirrel. And then there's the next pig thing is obviously PB the Pig. And the final one is Shell Yeah with Merton the Turtle. And so those are cute little posters that you'll be seeing up and around the place, I guess in your local theatres, movie cinemas, wherever you may be seeing DC League of Super Pets pop up.
Shell Yeah is another funny play on words. It's amazing what they let squeak by, no pun intended.
Yes.
On kids' movies these days. When we were kids, you would never have gotten that.
Well, unless it was Bugs Bunny, and he was very progressive. You know, in the Looney Tunes, wearing drag, and you know, he was always. There are always kind of little adult jokes thrown in there that would just fly over the heads of kids. But as adults now, you watch them back and go, "Wow, that was pretty risky."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, mostly they were very
yes
tame.
And no. So
yes.
I'll leave it at that.
They've also put together some behind-the-scenes look at the who the voices are of the voice cast for DC League of Super Pets. I'm going to play a little bit of each one because obviously for copyright reasons we can't play the whole lot. But I'll just kind of, scroll through them at short points so you can get an idea of who the faces are and the voices are behind the DC League of Super Pets characters.
What kind of pets will your favorite superheroes have?
Wake up, buddy. It is walk o'clock.
This idea has never been done, which is pretty remarkable considering the genre of superheroes.
I'm Kevin Hart and I play Ace. Smelling stuff is one of the greatest joys of being a dog, next to licking any part of your body. I mean, I lick myself all the time.
Well, that explains the breath.
Ace is more of a rebel. Oh, you think you better than me with your superpower.
Playing a superhero that is so scared of everything is fun.
Squirrel, light him up.
I could hurt someone. He tends to think like the worst can happen any second.
We'll be fine.
We're never.
I'm Kate McKinnon. My character is Lulu the guinea pig.
Not so fast, hamster.
Hamster? A hamster is a hacky sack. We are guinea pigs.
She is the villain of the movie, but I love her and I think she's really funny.
What is it? Do I have something on my face? Do I have a pimple?
I'm Natasha Leone, and I play Merton the turtle.
You win this round, lettuce.
What is the superpower that a turtle would love more than anything? Speed. And this type of super dynamic flash level speed is granted to her.
I love how Jewish she sounds.
Yeah, she does. She does have that voice that tells you that this person is from a certain ethnicity.
So it's really cool to see the faces behind some of those voices. I mean, I wasn't even aware that Merton was a female. Just hearing the voice, he could be either, male or female voice for that character. And just love seeing how animated they get, no pun intended, on the microphone, acting out what they can't visually be seen, but it's just obviously their method of getting the best out of their voice.
Yeah, you kind of have to. If you're just sitting there speaking the lines, I don't think you can get the emotion of it unless you're like really animated.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to see. No, I'm glad. I'm looking forward to this. I know a lot of people mind the gap, saying looks too much like an Illumination animated movie for my taste. I think that's probably where they're aiming at, is that audience. So for it to look something like, Up or some of those kind of films, is the target audience, and I think the animation looks great. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm not sure what his cat sitting on his keyboard there in the comments, but thanks Kevin. Just a little mumble jumble, but I'm looking forward to this. I can't wait.
Yeah, no, it looks like it's going to be fun. It'll probably be waiting to get to HBO Max thing for us,
right?
But yeah, we'll probably check it out at some point. I think Rachel wants to see it. She's just starting to see the commercials now.
Yep. Fair enough. All right, so yeah, you can check all those videos out in full at our website if you're interested. All right, we've got a super chat question from John Patrick Van Pelt saying, according to recent articles, John Williams says Indiana Jones 5 may be his final film. What do you guys think? Yeah, I saw that. I saw that he's saying that he's retired from composing after this and that he's not doing anything after that. You can't blame the guy. How old is he, Michael?
Yeah, he's 90.
Yes. So I think it's about, 60, 65 is usually kind of retirement age for most people in just the everyday walk of life. But to be 90 and still be composing, that's impressive.
Yeah.
So well done to the man.
Yeah. I don't blame him at all. I'm surprised that we've gotten as much out of him as we have in the past 15 years.
Yes, that's been impressive to see what he's been able to do. So mind the gap saying there shouldn't be an Indiana Jones 5 to begin with, but I guess we'll I don't know, I don't mind seeing Harrison Ford back in the get-up with a whip.
Yeah, I wasn't a really big fan of the last one.
No, wasn't the greatest script.
But, you never know. It could be fun.
Yeah.
As long as they don't bring Shia LaBeouf back.
All right, moving on. We've got more movie news to discuss. We've got the upcoming details, well, spoiler details, if you like, on the animated movie Batman and Superman Battle of the Super Sons. Now, this is Warner Brothers' first fully CGI animated film, and it's obviously starring the Super Sons, which are John Kent and what's his name? Damian. Couldn't think of his first name. Batman's son, so Superman's son and Batman's son. And thanks to the British, I want to get it exactly right here. I've got to go with my first page. So according to the, where is it here? British Board of Film Classification, they've inadvertently given some spoiler details because of their explanations for why this film has been given, in Britain anyway, a 12 rating, which is suitable for 12 years and over. And they specified details outlining why, with violence, injury detail, and threat and horror that viewers will be exposed to. And while we didn't know much about this animated film, other than the fact that it was obviously about Superman and Batman's sons, we now know, thanks to this classification, that the animated fantasy action film in which the sons of two superheroes must join forces to save the planet, that was pretty much a given. But the details for Super Sons are interesting because we have details such as and again, spoiler details, spoiler alert. If you're not wanting to know more details about this, then you might want to kind of wait until this graphic is off your screen. So I'll leave this graphic up on our screen for a while. But it will be Starro the Conqueror will play a major role in the upcoming movie. It says there is occasional bloody detail, including a slow-motion blood spurt in the aftermath of a punch, and alien starfish explode bloodily.
Wow.
Now, there's also additional threat and horror. Yeah, where details published clearly specify that Superman and Batman will come under the control of Starro. Now, if you're not up on who Starro is obviously this mind-controlling starfish-like extraterrestrial being who uses smaller parasitic clones of itself to control others in the way almost like aliens, in that they like face huggers and they attach to your face and then they control you that way. It says here that there is moderate body horror when alien starfish erupt from victims' mouths. Two young teenagers must fight their possessed parents.
Well, that pretty much gives away the basic plot. I mean, it's not going to do, it doesn't tell you everything that happens in it, but it's kind of funny that came out.
Yes.
Like it did.
It is kind of, they're obviously classifying why they've given a certain rating, but to be so specific in some of the graphic details of what we're going to be seeing is interesting. And yeah, so you can go to our article on our website if you want to learn a bit more detail about the main villain of the film and where they first originated in the comic book side of things, and there are some further details. But yeah, we don't know exactly when this will be out, but Batman, Superman, Battle of the Super Sons will have a running time of 79 minutes, which is probably pretty stock standard for animated films, and it's expected to be released later this year.
Well, it should be fun.
Yeah. Fully CGI animated film, so it'll be interesting to see some graphics. We haven't seen any imagery or even a title for this film, so looking forward to seeing what they come up with and what the imagery will look like for this animated movie, which will be released later this year. As I said, I'm expecting it to be probably HBO Max, or will it get a Blu-ray DVD release, you think, like some of the other animated
probably
movies?
Both. I would assume.
So you check out that article in full on our website. Now, we can't go 3-4 weeks without mentioning Zack Snyder, and it's just today we learnt that Zack Snyder's Justice League will be available digitally on July 19th. Now, you might be thinking, hey, hasn't this already been released? I think it might have been on Apple, iTunes, or whatever you want to call it. But when you bought the DVD, Blu-ray, box sets, there's usually a digital copy available for you to download with a code or whatever through those purchases. But that wasn't the case with Zack Snyder's Justice League. There wasn't any digital download available. So a digital copy of Zack Snyder's Justice League will be released from July 19th. I don't know how that works, if it will be a separate purchase or what the case may be. But yeah, it was released obviously on Blu-ray and DVD, but no digital version at the time.
They got to make that money back somehow.
Yeah, they keep milking it for all it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Mark, we had to go through an episode and did mention Zack Snyder. I apologise to anybody.
It's not our fault.
No, we just follow the news.
Happening.
That's right, exactly. So yeah, July 19th, if you're interested. Alright, Superman and Lois on TV. Tomorrow night is the Season 2 finale. It is titled Waiting for Superman. But before we get there, you reviewed episode 14 of Season 2, which was titled World's War Bazaar. You gave this episode a 5 out of 5 rating. You said there was a moment in this week's episode that resonated with me more than just about anything I've seen on this show. What was that moment?
The moment where Lana is sitting there talking to the people of Smallville and explaining that there's this other Earth and that there's doppelgangers and the Earths are merging. It all makes perfect sense in her head.
Yeah.
And everyone is just staring at her like she's crazy. And that is me when I'm talking to civilians about things to do with comic books and Superman. It's like, no, seriously, he had a mermaid girlfriend in college. I say that to you, and it's like, of course.
Yeah, I know that.
Superman had a mermaid girlfriend in college. And I said that to my wife, and she accused me of trying to play a trick on her. So, yeah, that was
that's
my
funny.
thing.
Very good. For me, the moment that resonated with me was Lois sitting down with the despondent Clark and giving him that pep talk about, you know, he's still Superman, that there's still so much he can do, and you know, Superman, he's not the things he can do as far as his powers, but who he is. And I was like, yes, finally. It was just like, you know, tears rolling down my face. It was just like, this is what people don't understand about who Superman is and why he's such an inspiring character for me as on a personal note.
Mind the Gap asks, didn't the Earth already go through an alien invasion? This is a little different.
Yes, this is like your life is going to end because a doppelganger of you is going to merge with you or merge with the planet, and it's like...
Yeah, it's just like one of those things where I think people can wrap their minds around, okay, that there's, you know, somebody from somewhere else is invading. Humans have a frame of reference for that. Humans do not have a frame of reference in practical terms and in everyday life that there is an alternate reality where there's someone just like them. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I think they missed opportunity though at the end of this episode when everything like kind of shimmered and suddenly they were in the inverse Kent household, or L household, I guess I should say. Um, and the other Lois didn't show up, and then we could have had Superman saying, this is not my beautiful house, this is not my beautiful wife. This is why I'm not in the writer's room.
No, indeed. We've got a nice super chat here from Brad Example saying, been watching you guys since before Superman Returns came out, my favourite Superman site. Thank you both for all you do. Well, thank you, Brad. That's very nice of you. Thank you very much for the donation as well, but that's a very kind comment, and we really appreciate that you've been hanging out with us so long and that we're still entertaining you after all these years. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. I do need to send out an apology to the wider world of Superman fans. You and I sat here a couple of weeks back talking about Ali Alston being a parasitic, parasite, and making out like we were, kind of coming up with this and that there was no precedent for it. There is actually an Alison Alston and a twin Alston sister in the comics, which I kind of glossed over completely and forgot the fact that they were parasites at one stage in the comic books, thinking that the writers were being very fancy and tricky here and giving us a parasite out of a new character. But there has been an Alison Alston in the comic books who was a parasite, and a purple one at that.
Yeah, I have been. Somebody wrote into the Superman and Lois tape show and kind of took me specifically to task for not mentioning it, and it's something that I twigged early on because I remember hearing the name Ali Alston, and then seeing someone say that was the name of that parasite from Greg Rucka's run. And I'm like, well, that's cute. And like I said, they did such a good job of faking us out with Doomsday that part of me didn't want to believe anything. Like, I don't trust these people at all. I mean, not in a bad way. It's like, I'd lend them money. But, as far as them... how do I want to say this? As far as them yanking the rug out from under us, Morgan Edge, Bizarro, all these characters, it makes perfect sense to me that maybe they wouldn't do, the whole Ali Alston is Parasite. But again, it's a very different version of that character. So
yeah, so there is the Parasite that I mentioned that Ali Alston was in the comic books during the Greg Rucka run, as you mentioned. So just clearing the air, making sure that fans don't think that we're above reproach as far as being able to admit to where we've kind of not, glossed over something or not done a full background check on the Ali Alston character. But there it is. Parasite has been there in the comics. We are fallible at sometimes. We don't know everything.
Now I got to do a full vetting process of every character name checked in the show. Where I'm like, you have like the do music as I'm sitting there clacking on my keyboard, writing something down, working with beakers for absolutely no reason.
It was a great episode. Going through some of the questions that have been posted, John Patrick Van Pelt always sends us a few. He says, do you guys think Lois is trying to convince Clark Kent that it's time to reveal his secret identity to protect the people of Smallville? No, I didn't get that impression. I think that she was just saying that he can still rock up as Superman, as he did, and at a particularly very timely moment for Lana during the town meeting, as to her divulging the information, and they believed him when he said, no, I'm vouching for Lana, it's true. And he didn't have to say or do anything super, he just had to be there as Superman, and people trusted and believed him, and that's what the power that he has. That isn't a superpower, it's just who he is.
Yeah, and it's interesting to watch Tyler go into the Superman mode, where he's trying to explain something to people and keep them calm and all that. It's kind of like, he does so well with all aspects of the character that I'm glad that he got to kind of play with that end of it as well.
Yeah. Also, the question, if Superman can stop the merging Earths in the end, do you guys think Sarah will be able to keep Jordan's powers a secret moving into Season 3? I think she will. She's a pretty trustworthy person. My question is, will she connect the dots and realize that Clark is Superman? Or does she just think that Jonathan is like some of the other superpowered people that have rocked up in Smallville and has powers for some other reason?
I would think it would be more that they reveal to her that Clark is Superman. But it's interesting because that's kind of what Lana was getting at when they were talking in the car.
About why she didn't...
Lana said something... Yeah, Lana says something like, you don't understand the full implications of this.
Yeah, the secret is bigger than just Jordan having powers.
And that was another cool thing about this episode, is that Lana wasn't proven wrong or didn't forgive anyone, but I think this was the episode where she finally understood why Clark kept his secret and how the lie that Kyle told kind of took on a life of its own. You live with it so much. And she's like, you knew I would figure it out eventually. And he was like, yeah. And it's not like she said, okay, I forgive you, I understand this. She was willing to have him come home because, everyone's probably about to die, so, might as well make up while they can. But yeah, it's so complicated with Sarah knowing, because it's not just that. It's not like Smallville where Clark reveals he has powers and it's just Clark. It's not like Clark having powers meant that Jonathan Kent had powers. So it's a whole other ball game.
Yes, John obviously is also a bit confused about Ali Olsen merging. He thinks it was planet Earth and the red sun of Krypton into one planet. No, what she's doing is she's merging her Bizarro world Earth, the inverse Earth, with Clark Kent's Earth, and over there is a red sun, or it's a square sun that has red sun powers, red sun light. So in the merging of the two worlds, the sun is also merging, and therefore it is emitting a red sun. But Superman has lost his powers because Ali drained him of his powers as a parasite in that previous episode. So he doesn't have powers at all, not because of the sun, but because of Ali having drained him completely of those powers in last week's episode, or the week before. So it doesn't help that there's a sun that is no longer yellow, but even when there was and he came back, it wasn't powering him up because his cells were so depleted that they were almost human-like. They weren't able to absorb yellow energy and give him any powers. Whether that will change for the finale, we're hoping. Waiting for Superman is obviously the title of the episode, and here is the promo for this final episode of Season 2.
Stay home, be with your loved ones, and pray for a miracle. What matters is that we're all together.
Don't go losing hope yet.
There's still one person who could stop her. Me.
Superman and Lois, season finale next Tuesday at 8, 7 Central, only on the CW.
So there you have it. What will happen to John Henry? That's the other one. He went in there to stop Ali.
Well, there's some photos that they released that kind of hint that maybe he'll come out of that okay. Just kind of a bad decision on that, to release that as a promo picture from the episode.
And we also have obviously the appearance of John Diggle and some explanation as to how Superman and Lois fits into the larger Arrowverse of shows. That'll be interesting to see. Is it its own Earth? Is it a different Earth to the one that the Flash and Supergirl were on, Earth Prime, if you like? Is it a different version of the Earth? So, yeah, we'd be interested to see exactly what the explanation is. Any theories?
Supergirl has been on Argo this whole time, and that's why she hasn't shown up.
Okay.
That's
so really you're still saying they're on Earth Prime?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, it would be weird if they didn't, because I realized that at the end of the Crisis, they revealed that there were other Earths, because the Doom Patrol got its Earth, and the Titans, and Brandon Routh, his Superman's Earth was back. But it just seems to me that it works better kind of on its own, because then you don't have to worry about all the baggage, and that this John Diggle is just a John Diggle on their Earth that they have experience with. On the other hand, it would be kind of neat to see how it connects with everything else, and that it may be the same Earth. It's just, these are the adventures of Superman.
Is it years down the track, but because the Sons were babies when we had the end of Crisis?
Yeah, but Crisis kind of messed with everything. This seems to take place in the present. Crisis took place in the present. So I think it just messed with the timeline. I mean, when Supergirl came back, Lex Luthor was a good guy who ran the DEO. So things happen.
Indeed. Alex Garfin also spoke with denofgeek.com about his role as Jordan Kent in Superman and Lois, and how his character has developed in Season 2, especially now that he's had to be a bit more physical in his role with superpowers and the like. And he says that he's been really getting into the fight training, and that he likes to do his own stunts as much as he can where possible. Obviously, that's not always a good risk to take, but he's proud of the work that he's been doing with these fighting skills and his flying skills. And the interview is there on our website, part of it, if you'd like to check out what he had to say about his role as Jordan Kent in Season 2, and where we're leading into the finale for Season 2.
Yeah, his TikTok is a lot of fun, too.
He's a very likable guy. He seems to be very upbeat.
Yeah. Yes, he's very excitable, and he's got a very questionable mustache at the moment. So that's kind of interesting to see.
We also learnt this week that Tom Cavanaugh, who plays Eobard Thawne on The Flash, is going to be directing the Season 3 premiere of Superman and Lois. A lot of the actors are getting behind the camera and doing the directing thing. We've seen a number of the cast members do that of late. And he says that he'll be doing the finale of The Flash, and then he's also going to be doing the premiere of the first episode of Season 3 of Superman and Lois, which won't hit our screens until early 2023. So we will have a 6-month break, which is crazy, but it's the way of the world. It's the way things they need to do them.
What they did last. Yeah, that's what they did last year. So
looking forward to seeing what he does with the first episode of Season 3, which will be back, as I said, at the beginning of next year. All right, we're going to take a quick break, play some messages, the new promo that, thanks to John, I put together, and we'll also be talking about the upcoming My Adventures with Superman animated series, which we haven't heard a lot about of late, but we have some information about who is playing Brainiac. We'll be back right after these messages. Don't go anywhere.
We'll be back in a moment with the exciting climax of today's episode. So stand by.
If you're enjoying Superman Homepage Live, then please like and share this video with your family and friends. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to our YouTube channel, then you can click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we post a new video. You can also join our YouTube membership program, just click the join button below. Or you can become a patron and support our website by going to patreon.com/Superman Homepage.
Look, up in the sky.
It's a bird.
It's a plane. No, it's SupermanHomepage.com, the #1 Superman fan site in the world. SupermanHomepage.com, covering the world of Superman from the 1930s to today. News, reviews, rumors, and reports. SupermanHomepage.com for all your Superman comics, TV shows, movies, cartoons, radio shows, and more. Everything you ever wanted to know about the Man of Steel and more. SupermanHomepage.com.
Thanks, Superman Homepage, for all the support over the years. I really appreciate it.
I'm Matt Bomer. I'm the voice of Superman in Superman Unbound, and this is the Superman Homepage.
Right here on Superman Homepage.
Great story! An old wizard teaching kids tricks with cigarettes.
Cigarettes. I don't like the sound of that. Up and away!
Watch me, kids. One puff and they'll soon be in my grasp.
If it's a puff you want...
Foiled again!
But one thing you can't disguise, kids, the harm cigarettes do to you. That's why I never say yes to a cigarette.
And we're back on Superman Homepage Live. Hope you like the new promo and a new commercial there, the Never Say Yes to a Cigarette, one of the other versions of the nicotine commercial.
Yeah, that was cool to see. I'm constantly amused by those.
They are good. Thank you, Kenneth. Glad you like the new promo for the Superman homepage. Try to include as many different references of all the Superman versions over the years. Obviously, you can't fit them all in, but you do your best, and I'm glad that it worked out and to most people's liking. Alright, as I mentioned before the break, the upcoming animated series My Adventures with Superman, which has already received a 2-season order for HBO Max. This week we found out through an interview with Starry Constellation magazine that actor Michael Emerson revealed he's voicing the role of Brainiac. Check it out. Here's what he had to say.
Oh, I have a little occasional job I do the voiceover of a character in a new animated series. It's a superhero thing. It's Superman, actually.
Just a little superhero thing.
Adventures of Superman, it's called. You've probably heard of Superman. And it's an animated series. I think it's a half-hour thing. And I play, amazingly, a villain in it. I play the character of Brainiac.
Oh, okay.
The rogue AI who now controls the whole Kryptonian empire.
Oh, yes. That's another complex, highly intelligent character you'll be playing there, for sure.
He is that. He's smart. He's also a cartoon character. So it's tricky. It's tricky in the playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't get to be.
So there you have it. There's Michael Emerson talking about revealing that he's playing the role of Brainiac. Now, I don't know if he was supposed to reveal that, but I don't think it was necessarily earth-shattering news. But at least we're hearing something about My Adventures with Superman.
Yeah, I actually got him confused with the guy from... What was that show called? Another guy, because he was on Person of Interest.
Yes, he was great in that.
And I thought he did the voice of Brainiac for Superman Unbound. But it was John Noble. I just looked it up.
Mm.
And he was on... what is it? It starts with an F. It was it had the kid from... the guy from Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, that was another good show.
Yeah, and it was...
I think John Noble's Australian.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So I mixed up my middle-aged male
intelligent
actors that play intelligent characters. So there you go.
Yeah, that's interesting to see him reveal that, Michael Emerson. Looking forward to My Adventures with Superman. If you're unaware of this animated series, there's the title graphic that has been released for a year. It feels like over a year now. And these are Fringe is the series. Thank you, Mind the Gap, and thank you, Mark. That was another great series, Fringe. It was a twisted and wonderful show. And they're the character designs for Clark, Lois, and Jimmy that we'll be seeing in My Adventures with Superman. So looking forward to that. Yeah, that's My Adventures with Superman. Supposed to be, I guess, premiering sometime in 2022, later this year. Looking forward to seeing some details finally about something to do with this animated series, which, as I said, already got picked up for 2 seasons. Half-hour episodes, according to Michael Emerson. We don't know how many episodes per season, but at least we're hearing that it's going ahead and that's actually happening.
Yeah, very excited about that.
Yeah, so my adventures with Superman, something to look forward to later this year. All right, before we move on to the comic book side of things and to do our monthly and weekly segments, we've got the news that the stars of Smallville are going to be appearing at GalaxyCon Raleigh in North Carolina next month. They'll be there on all 4 days, or John Glover will be, July 28th to 31st. Tom Welling will only be there on the Friday, Friday to Sunday. Erica Drance and Michael Rosenbaum only appearing on Saturday and Sunday. But you can join Tom and Michael for another Smallville Night special event, which will take place while they're there. Also, there at GalaxyCon is Gerard Christopher, who starred as Superboy in seasons 2 and 3 of the 1980 Superboy TV series. He'll be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, as will Patrick Warburton, who voiced the role of Superman in those American Express TV commercials with Jerry Seinfeld. He'll be there Saturday and Sunday as well. Head to galaxycon.com if you're interested in that convention.
That's actually really cool. I wonder if they'll do a Superman panel because of that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Yeah, that would be fun. So yeah, GalaxyCon, check that out. Details are on our website, or as I mentioned, their website. All right, let's get into our monthly segment. Let's start with the Super Secret Sound-Byte. Here is our intro.
Only one thing alive with less than 4 legs can hear this frequency, man, and that's you.
All right, Michael, what was our Super Secret sound? Or I should play the sound first. Here was the sound
I was about to say.
From last month. This was the sound we played.
Unbelievable. I'm eating Kryptonian food.
Close enough.
So that was the sound. Where did it come from, and who guessed it right?
It came from Superman Unbound, which we actually just mentioned. I didn't plan that at all.
No.
3 people guessed it correctly: Stephen Marshall, Patrick O'Neill, and John Patrick Van Pelt.
Congratulations to those 3 people for guessing where in the world of Superman that sound came from. Here is our new Super Secret Soundbite for this next month. See if you know where this comes from.
I gave my word I would not come for the girl. Your death, however, is long overdue, Superman.
So there you have it. If you think you know where in the world of Superman that sound comes from, head to the Superman homepage website, supermanhomepage.com. Under the contact menu, you will find the Super Secret Soundbite entry form. Send your entry in and we will read the name of each person who guesses it right when we return to this segment at the end of July. Don't post anything in the comments, just go to that entry form and we'll get back to this at the end of July. So that was the Super Secret Soundbite. All right, let's get into the fan favorite segment of our show. All right, fan favorite question from last week was, what is your favorite Superman team-up comic book story? Who did we have first, Michael?
David Rustage wrote in, he said, great show this week. On the subject of the number of episodes in a season, I agree with Michael that viewers should make a better result and cut out any padding. In the UK, we have shorter seasons of TV shows, so watching 22 or 23 episodes of an American/Canadian production can sometimes be a little tiring. Good, though. Obviously, the greatest team up for Superman is Batman, the world's finest. However, as an older reader, I've always had a soft spot for the Candor set stories of Nightwing and Flamebird from the 1960s. Therefore, my answer is Jimmy Olsen. I love Kurt Swan art, but they also show how Superman is a real hero, powers or none. Favorite would have to be The Boy in the Bottle from Jimmy Olsen, number 53.
Thank you very much, David. That's a nice answer and a bit of a throwback to last week's episode, talking about the number of episodes in a series. Just got to deal with somebody in the comments. Get rid of them there. All right, then we also have Robert Lewis. Robert wrote in saying, easy, DC Comics presents number 50, Superman and Clark Kent, cover dated 1982, October 1982 to be exact, where Kal-El feels he doesn't have enough time as Superman or Clark and the Miracle Machine grants his secret wish and splits him into two separate individuals in a wild story named When You Wish Upon a Planetoid. There you go. What a great cover.
Stephen Marshall wrote, I really had to think about favorite team-up. While Kingdom Come is my favorite comic ever, I don't think it would count as a team-up. Instead, I went for the Matt Wagner Trinity story, where Superman and Batman team up with Wonder Woman for the first time to take on Ra's al Ghul and Bizarro. Or Ra's al Ghul. Really depends on how you are. That's me, that's not him. The comic designs are really reminiscent of the DCAU versions, and one day I hope to see it animated in that style.
Very nice, thank you, Stephen. Jason Jarolowski wrote in saying, my favourite Superman team-up has to be the classic 1976 oversized book, Superman vs. Spider-Man, the Battle of the Century. How awesome it was to see these two icons by different publishers in the same book. My runner-up is DC Comics Presents Annual Number 1, who better to team up with than with the Man of Steel, but another Superman, but from the Golden Age, and against two Luthors. All the annuals of DC Comics Presents were really good. Thank you,
Yes,
Jason.
That is very right. Ryan Ignatius Pratt wrote, this is an extremely difficult question for me to answer. Nevertheless, I do remember being struck many years ago by the Superman team-up story with Batman in Action Comics number 766, which was part of the Lois Parasite story arc. Joe Kelly's unique take on Batman as a detective helping an alien Superman search for Lois was quite striking, as the Dark Knight could not see the people involved in the case as people, at least not while the case was ongoing, but rather as facts and information. The way this was compared and contrasted by Kelly with how the Man of Steel's hope and belief in humanity of others was poignantly done as Clark supposedly neared death's door. The story was such a unique look at the world's finest that I'd never seen before, and one that I have yet to come across again in the years since.
Well, thank you. That's an excellent thought-out question. Thank you, Ryan. Next up, we have Kenny Crowley Jr., who said, my favourite Superman comic book story, well, I have a lot, but my favourite era are any that has Superman teaming up with either Supergirl, Wonder Woman, Batman, or The Flash. Thanks, Steve and Michael, and keep up the super amazing work. Thank you, Kenny. Appreciate your response there. We also had a late entry. John Patrick Van Pelt. It's not a comic book one, but he says, my favourite team-ups are Batman and Superman from the animated series. Another good one is Clark Kent, Superman, and the Justice League featuring Arthur Curry, Green Arrow, Bart Allen, and so many others team up on Smallville. The other one is Superman, Supergirl, and my favourite team-up is Superman, Tim Drake. So thank you, not comic book ones, but thank you, John, for your response to the fan favourite question. And thank you, everybody, for your responses. Very well thought out responses to that fan favourite question for this week. But Michael, moving forward, what is our new fan favourite question for this week?
What is your favourite episode of the Adventures of Superman TV series from the 50s?
Yes, so the 1950s TV series Adventures of Superman. What is your favourite episode? Get involved. The email address is scrolling across the bottom of your screen right now. info@supermanhomepage.com. Let us know what your favourite episode of the 1950s TV show is by responding to that email address right there. And we will read out those responses when we return to this segment next week. So there you go. That's the fan favourite segment of our show. We're going to quickly jump into This Week in History, Michael.
Come with me now, my son, as we break through the bonds of your earthly confinement, traveling through time and space.
Alrighty, we are starting in 1952 with Action Comics number 171. The new Superman, Kryptonite can't hurt him anymore. Those are some interesting guns those guys are firing. Plus, extra, Supergirl meets her Kryptonian parents. What do you mean meets? She was... Never mind. I'm not going to get into that right now. 1962, Action Comics number 291.
Yes, you just did that.
Did I do 291? I thought I did Action Comics number 171.
Oh, sorry.
Am I wrong?
Actually, maybe I've got them in the wrong order. There, hang on. There's 171 right there.
Yeah, 171. Okay, so it's The Secrets of Superman. Y'all, people like watching movies on a home projection reel was a thing in the 50s. Batman did it like 2 or 3 times. So that's this one, and you got a creeper in the corner there. Then it's 1962 with Action Comics number 291. And Adventure, because it's like Supergirl wasn't even around in 1952. I have a headache tonight, folks, so I am a little out of it. Adventure, it's why I'm kind of yawning. It's not on purpose. I'm not really that tired. It's just I got a pressure headache going on. So if I do or say anything crazy, it's because of that. Adventure Comics number 299, The Unwanted Super Baby. And I am here to tell you that anytime there is a Super Baby story, it is unwanted by me. Then in 1972, we can't get, they did such, oh my God, it's Jonathan Kent hanging himself. Like this is like one of my favorite covers of all time. I just have to tell you. Them walking in to like a hung Jonathan Kent. Oh wow, that's amazing. Also 1972, we have Action Comics number 415, which has Meet the Metropolis Monster, where he's like fighting a hippie chick with some dude with a green hand, and Adventure Comics number 422, which of course had a Supergirl story, as this was her home at the time, and it's like people fighting a giant robot. That's like this is a King Kong thing,
yes,
obviously,
big
with
time.
Supergirl being held. 1982, Adventure Comics number 492. This is when Adventure Comics was a digest-sized book. So they did reprints of Legion of Superhero stories with Supergirl in the blue skirt. We also had, as previously mentioned, DC Comics Presents number 50.
Wow, what a coincidence. Just happened to be this week in history.
That was kind of a cool coincidence. And Justice League of America number 207, which is part 1 of Crisis on Earth Prime, which teamed up the Justice League, the Justice Society, and the All-Star Squadron. That's a really good 5-part story.
Nice.
1982. No, we just did 1982. 1992. Things Go to Hell. Literally, it's the start of the Blaze Satanist War in Adventures of Superman number 493. This was an interesting, short little crossover story, right? A couple months before the death. So that's kind of cool. This is where Blaze and Satanist. This is going to shock you. They went to war. 2002, I apparently just completely missed out on this stuff. We did have Justice League Adventures number 9, Lab Rats number 4, which has them holding Superman's costume at least, and Young Justice number 47, which of course contains Superboy. He's right there on the cover. And then in 2012, we have Justice League number 10, which had the Shazam backup, Superman number 10, which was part of the Jurgens, Dan Jurgens run on that, and Superman Family Adventures number 2. Speaking of Dan Jurgens in the real world, today, June 27th, is Dan Jurgens' birthday. He was born in 1959. And then on June 28th, we have a twofer. We have Superman Returns being released to the theaters number 2 in 2006. I vividly remember actually requesting that day off of work. I almost said because it's a religious holiday, but I didn't go that far. And Eilert Zurer, who played Lara in Man of Steel, was born in 1969. She almost has a Kryptonian name.
Yeah, she does almost.
In a weird way. She was also the wife of the Kingpin on the Daredevil series from Netflix. But that is This Week in History.
There you go. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. We do have a caller waiting. No, Mark has left. Mark was hanging on there for a bit. Sorry, Mark. We ran over time. Didn't get you onto the show tonight, but we appreciate you trying to call in. Let's have a look at the comics, I should say, that are out this week. And there is only just the one comic book out this week, and that is Action Comics number, just trying to get up, turn off Alet there. Action Comics 1044, that is out this week, and it is available in a couple of variant covers. This one, which makes up my background in tonight's show behind me on the green screen, and also this Pride variant cover with Clark and Lois cheering on their son there. So that is what's available this week for comic book readers. If you're just that one, that's all.
Yep.
So,
unlike last week where you had a bunch.
Yes, indeed. Now, before we wrap up, XM Studios has given fans a sneak peek at an upcoming statue that they've got coming out very soon, and that is this Superman classic 1/4 scale statue, which they've kind of hidden in shadows there. They will be releasing a full preview or view of that statue soon. The Man of Steel is the ultimate symbol of truth, justice, and hope. Last survivor of the doomed planet Krypton, raised in the quiet heartland of Smallville, Kansas, Superman is as much a legend as he is a man, the gold standard of heroism, compassion, and responsibility, reads the description. So that's looking like it's going to be a nice, iconic statue. Waiting to see what happens there.
A 1/4 scale is interesting.
Yes, that's huge.
1/4 of 6 feet would be 1.5 feet. It's like a small child.
Yeah, that's
like people are going to buy that and put it in the car with them so they can ride in the HOV lanes.
But you'll have to put the seatbelt on, because otherwise you're just going to keep that beeping, saying there's someone sitting in the seat that hasn't put a seatbelt on.
Yes, exactly.
So that looks like a massive statue. There's also a video on the 2 versus 2 player showcase on Multiverses. This is the free-to-play game, all new free-to-play platform fighter, which is in development by Player First Games, Multiverses. You can check out a video showing you all the 2 versus 2 matches that they put on display in a video that was released recently. So looking forward to... and a couple of our Superman homepage helpers have been using or playing with the alpha, is it, or the beta that they sent, a beta version of this game, so that they've been put out there. So looking forward to getting their views on this Multiverses game, which seems like it's a pretty popular one amongst fans that they're looking forward to. And that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight's episode. Before we do wrap up, I want to thank everyone for tuning in live with us tonight. Thank you to Mark, Mind the Gap, John, George, Akansha, and so many others, Kenneth, and so many others. I can't name them all. We did have I won't say, but an idiot in the room tonight trying to post comments. There is a banned feature. As soon as I see it, I'll pop it there. So boot them out. So appreciate you guys being patient there. Once we haven't had idiots in this show for ages. Remember back in the day, we'd get a few who would try to call in, and we have a pretty civilized bunch of people listening in these days, but we deal with them as is necessary. But thank you everyone for tuning in to this live show. Thank you to our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. And thank you to you, my co-host, Michael Bailey. Hope your headache gets better, Mike.
Oh, it's starting to lighten up, but it's just it hit like literally right before the show started. So I'm like, well, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah. Speaking to me, does that have that effect on you?
No.
I'm talking about lightening up the headache. Oh, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
But not in a bad way. But,
No.
Neil makes you think. So.
Very good. Well, thanks again. And if you missed part of the show, tune in late, want to check it all out again, feel free to do that. All you have to do is head to supermanhomepage.com or our YouTube channel, and we'll feature you'll be able to watch the whole show in full. But we'll be back next week. It's going to be a holiday, so we understand if you don't make it. July 4th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Haven't chatted to Michael to see if he's doing anything. I'm hoping he's going to be available to join me on that day.
Yeah, I'll be there. I just make no promises that the idiots in my neighborhood won't start shooting fireworks off and my dogs won't bark.
Yeah, so
but other than that, I'll be there. I may even wear an appropriate T-shirt.
Nice, all good. Well, we'll see you then next week, everyone. Until then, be sure to check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of myself and Michael Bailey. Thanks for watching Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com.